Hey guys, welcome back. As you can see, things look a little fancier around here. My brother and I have been, having fun doing this new podcast. So we got this cool new table, mics and everything to make it look official. So that's a big update. But other than that, I know it's been a while since my last video. To be honest, there's a video in the works, but there's a whole story that I'm gonna get into a little later about that. But today, I actually wanted to share some exciting news. I got a new Wacom Cintiq Pro. I wanted to update my setup and everything. And so today I'm gonna be unboxing the new Wacom Cintiq that I got for you guys, just to kind of go over some of the specs and everything. So for any of you guys who are new to the channel, or this is the first video you are tuning into, my name is Miguel Baltazar. I am currently an artist working in the animation industry, specifically at Netflix Animation Studios in the storyboarding department as a storyboard revisionist. So I'm just gonna go right into unboxing this thing. It's actually a little heavy. It's pretty big. I think that takes up the whole frame. I don't know if you guys can see me, but this is the new Wacom Cintiq Pro 24-inch. I'm gonna be completely honest, this thing is pricey. It's valued at, well, there's actually two versions. There is a touch version and a no touch version, but I actually got the one with no touch because to be quite honest, the one with the touch that I had, which was the old 13-inch Cintiq Pro, that one I hardly ever used, and it would be annoying when I wouldn't be able to turn off the touch feature. So I got the one without the touch because I'm mainly drawing in this thing, and it's actually a lot cheaper. It's $500 cheaper. Retail value for this is around $2,000, so that is you're gonna be spending a pretty penny on this, but the quality of it's really high, and I feel like it would pay for itself if you're working in the industry, if you're working with clients and stuff, and you have something as reliable as this. Of course, there are other cheaper alternatives like the Wacom tablet and other different pen display companies that offer cheaper results, but for me, I had the old Wacom Cintiq Pro 13-inch that I've had for years, and it still works great. But I wanted to get this for specific reasons that I'll explain in a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this thing. Ooh. Ooh-hoo-hoo-wee. And the box looks pretty big, but I honestly feel like this is similar to opening up a bag of Cheetos, where you have the bag, but then the bag is only half full. So we'll see right now. I think for the most part, this is just like the packaging and stuff. Alright, I think you guys are just seeing like my torso, which is weird, but holy mother of pearl! Hang on. This is heavy as, I'm not gonna say it, but it's heavy. Because the old pen display that I had was a 13-inch, and that one's light. Like, that one's a travel size pen tablet. But this is a big boy right here. It's a big boy. Ooh. So here we go. So this was just the box that contained another box, which will probably contain another box. But I really like how Wacom has this like really cool branding where the boxing looks really cool. So I mean, you guys have probably seen this before. Here's the box with the nice little illustration on there. So on the back it has specific specs, and it says, okay, so it's Creative Pen Display 24. Create directly on screen with our most natural pen experience. So it says it has the Wacom Pro Pen 2, which is the latest Wacom pen technology. It says 99% Adobe RGB, so when it comes to printing or having the color of your illustration be as accurate as possible, that's there for you. And then it says 3840 by 2160. I think it's Ultra HD. So you're getting the fullest resolution possible when it comes to illustration making, and this is perfect for me because I know I do storyboarding, which is primarily black and white, but at the same time I still work on personal stuff, and that's helpful for me, honestly, especially now working on this channel, making demos and tutorials, as well as working on professionally and personally. This is why I chose to get this. And then it has a stand, and it's pretty versatile. So let's go ahead and open this, and it's big. It's a 23.6-inch screen, so it's diagonal, and this is like almost double what my what my 13-inch was. So let's go ahead and open this up. And again, just a full caveat is that this thing is pricey. So I know this might not be necessarily like a, if you guys are tight on money, I totally get that. But hopefully, if you guys ever save up, this will last you a long time. I know a bunch of directors and people in the industry who had these kinds of tablets at home, and they've had that stuff for years, and it still works for them. So yeah, so okay, cool. I don't know if you guys can see. Awesome. So I will bring this down here. So the top part of the box has styrofoam palette of all the specific features, all the specific accessories that are included with the tablet. So you got the little pen holder, then you got the Pro Pen 2, which I think it has over like 8,000 points of sensitivity or pressure sensitivity. It's really good. So in this case, it's very accurate to how a traditional pen or pencil would feel. So that's good for me. And then of course you got all the little pieces of paper, all the little papeles, little instruction manual and everything. Screen, I think it's a screen wipe right here. I'm just speaking in layman's terms, just kind of seeing it, as a regular consumer. You got the instructions here. Everything's really nice. I think I hit the mic. Hopefully that doesn't sound too bad. And then you got little pen rings in case you want to customize that. I really like how they package everything. Oh yeah, I'd also like to thank Wacom for sending me this tablet for review. Nah, I'm just kidding. They didn't send it to me. Well, technically they did, but I paid for this shit. So then this is actually for the top of the pen display, which I will show later, to put your pen in here, but I usually don't use this a lot. And of course you got the HDMI cable, which is already in here. Actually no, these are the USBs to plug into the Cintiq. And then you got the Thunder port. This all makes sense once I go in and install it. And then of course you got like these beefy, whoa, these look like USBs on steroids. It'll make sense once I read the instructions. So the camera spazzed out, so for the most part the unboxing of the actual Cintiq was missed, but that's okay. I'll just kind of continue from where I was. So going back to this, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the remote. So this remote's really cool. You can put it actually like right here on the Cintiq, without any blocking or interruption of the actual screen. And this is cool because what I've been wanting to do is like program my shortcuts onto this remote. And for anybody who just wants to find a faster workflow, this would be really cool because you can program shortcut commands just such as like the space bar, zoom, even the brush tool, just the basic tools, because I still, to be honest, might need my keyboard shortcuts out on my actual keyboard. But this is actually a really cool way to eliminate the time that it takes for you to reach your hand over to your keyboard and use your shortcuts. And I think this is really cool. And it also comes with the little USB charger here as well. So that's that. And then of course I had unboxed this already. The Cintiq, it came like with this styrofoamy kind of wrapping on the Cintiq. But this is the box. I took this out already. Perfect. So this is the actual Cintiq. This is the bad boy right here. So it's huge. I'm really glad that this is the size. I mean, I don't know, like this is just what I wanted basically, to have a bigger size to be able to work around. So it's 23.6 inches across the screens. Of course, it's extra, there's extra space after this too. And this is cool because you can put the remote here. And then on top of that, this is all the screen space that you have. And this is just what I needed, just because I like to work a lot bigger. And so on top of that, I also got an Ergo Arm. Wacom has actually made their own, proprietary Ergo Flex Arm to attach to the back of this Cintiq, so that way it's able to give me as much flexibility as I can. Because like I said before, the goal for me is to not do this anymore because I don't want to hyperextend my neck. And actually, here's the power supply, which is double the size of the actual power supply of or at least the size, like the actual size of this thing is double what my Cintiq 13-inch is like. And then here's the stuff for the power. So this is the Cintiq Pro. It's really cool. It's very sleek, and it's very much catered towards what my needs are. So hopefully before this camera, you know, hopefully this camera doesn't die out. But I actually want to show what the Ergo Arm was. I unboxed it before, but the camera just kind of spazzed out. So here's this little turnkey. So there's that. That's what came with it. So this is what it looks like. Here's an illustration of it. The Flex Arm is. And then actually let me pull out the actual components. So here is the actual thing that will attach to the back of the Cintiq. It's insane. It's really massive. And it's just good that, like, you know, the materials are very sturdy, because at the end of the day, I don't want this to wear out and, you know, basically have my Cintiq collapse on me. So then here's one of the arms. It's got like these little straps in here for the wires and everything, which is cool, because the last thing I ever want to deal with is like all the wires everywhere. And then here, I think this is gonna be for the table. I don't know. There's you know, a little clamp on there. And then here's the actual thing that's gonna actually attach and clamp onto the desk, and it's pretty heavy. It's pretty sturdy actually, so hopefully my desk can handle it. The last thing I want is for my desk to not be able to handle it and just cave in on itself. But yeah, again, it's gonna be more it's gonna be a lot clearer once I actually go in and install this thing. But these are the actual products themselves. They look really cool, high quality, and let's just go ahead and get started with installing this thing. Hey guys, so welcome to my workspace. This is the work setup that I usually have when I'm working either professionally or personally. I actually have the Cintiq set up and ready to go, as well as my work laptop and a secondary monitor. And I really actually didn't emphasize enough why I got the Cintiq Pro. I didn't want to, you know, flex or anything, but the main idea is that, as you can see, my desk is fairly small, and before I actually had a Cintiq Pro 13-inch, which I actually had flat on the desk, and it just wasn't working for me ergonomically. I was having to bend a lot, and as a result of that, I suffered from severe neck pain. Well, not severe, but it was mild enough for me to like be out of commission for a little bit. I was actually in the process of working on another tutorial video, which was gonna be about camera moves, and that was something I was really excited about. I was 80% of the way through. And then, you know, all this happened with developing eye strain and neck pain and all these things. I had to reevaluate so much in terms of how to set up my workspace and how to be more ergonomical and healthy. And so, as you can see, you know, this is a lot. This is twice as big as what I had previously. And so, as much as I love this, I'm gonna keep this for travel convenience. But the reason why I bought this was because I can actually draw straight up and down. I can move my chair up. Oops. I can move my chair up and actually draw straight like this, instead of having to do this, because that stuff over time just kills you, you know? I'm still young, but because I had done it for so long back in school, oh, actually, hang on. Because I had done this for so long during school, doing this, looking up, looking side to side, it just took a toll on me. And so, actually, I've been using this for about a week. I'd filmed that unboxing segment last Sunday while it was like 400 degrees out, and also too, I wanted to do an installation video or an installation section for this video, but it just wasn't gonna happen. I promised it originally. Again, I'll explain this more once I actually install it, but I had to cut that stuff out because I'd be lying, because I actually want to show you guys how the installation process works. And also, it just wouldn't be good television. Me being all sweaty and greasy and gross, it just wasn't kind of for me. Let's just go ahead and get started with installing this thing. But anyway, this is what the Cintiq is, or at least how it looks like in context with my work setup. I honestly love it. I felt great. I don't have neck pain anymore, and I've just felt good. And also too, I like working big. It fits the needs that I want for something like this. And again, it's pricey. That's the only caveat. There's definitely other cheaper alternatives out there. But because this is very similar to the work setup I had back at DreamWorks, I wanted to replicate that feeling, because it was really good. All right, y'all, I'm gonna shut up. For today's demo, I actually wanted to do a storyboard of a specific shot or a specific scene from the new Batman trailer that came out recently. I think it was last week. and I thought it'd just be a really cool thing to do in order to just show you guys informally how my process is when it comes to, you know, adapting a character in terms of its design, and then going forth with the workflow. I will be using Photoshop for this. Later on, I promise I will use or I will do demos using Storyboard Pro. But just for today, I'm just keeping it informal. Just have some fun. Hopefully, you guys can get something out of it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. All right, y'all. So I'm actually using OBS, which is, I think it stands for Open Broadcast Software. Who cares? But I was actually able to, you know, set up my screen here just to show you guys exactly how I draw, and then also, you know, showing the actual screen of the Cintiq. And honestly, I'm just gonna, you know, work just like how I would if I wasn't being recorded. I think that would just, you know, be valuable to you guys. As much as I want to make my videos, you know, clean and squeaky with editing and everything, I just want to be, you know, raw and honest with how I approach things. So as it shows on the screen, I have the Batman story demo here. But if you guys don't know, I'm actually going to be storyboarding a specific scene in the Batman trailer that got everyone really gassed up, including me, where this gang, you know, is in the shot, you know, with like, you know, white face paint and everything, and then they're like, you know, who are you? And then Batman just proceeds to just give us the most epic, you know, beatdown that we've seen from Batman, and it's very like uncharacteristic, but I thought it was cool. Because it was just like very unhinged, very like raw beginner Batman. Because I think this movie takes place, I think 2 years into him being Batman. So that's the one I want to specifically focus on, and then just kind of like break down certain things that I would do when it comes to, you know, breaking down this scene, and then go from there. So yeah, I mean, keeping this really raw, really informal, and I got my water ready in case you know, I get thirsty. But as you can see right now, I'm sitting, like, you know, trying my best to sit up straight with the screen almost parallel to me. Of course, it's at an angle. And this is what's great about the Ergo Arm. I can just move it around like that. I've had no issues. Oh, I'm actually hitting my water. Sorry. So I can just move it around. And yeah, I'm really excited to start. This is going to be a really cool beginning. I definitely want to do this kind of thing. So actually, before I even get into this, I actually want to, you know, do a bit of character design. Caveat, I'm not a character designer. I'm a storyboard revisionist. I help to clean up a lot of the drawings that the storyboarders do. But when it comes to personal work, I do really want to be able to understand design, because when I'm working on personal portfolios, I want to make sure that not only is the storytelling on par, but I want to make sure that the characters are appealing and nice to look at when someone's going through the storyboard. Woo. Alright, so right now I'm just kind of warming up a little bit. And one thing that I will say when you start is, of course, this blank screen is very intimidating. You look at it and you think to yourself, shoot, there's just endless, infinite possibilities when it comes to trying to draw something here. But really what I did before starting this was I gathered up a bunch of reference, and also too, like, I have multiple screens, but I will drag over a certain reference that I will use. And to be honest, like, you know, I save a lot of stuff on my Instagram in my saved batch, either posts that, you know, other artists have made, you know, for tutorials and stuff like that, things that I want to reference from, because since this is the Batman, I want to be able to like have a design kind of tailored towards the mood and the theme of the trailer and also of the film. So I'm actually gonna go with like stuff that Tonico Pentoa has done. He's very inspirational. I've been watching his videos a lot. He has very good videos on like character expression and acting. So I'm just gonna pull up something from him just to kind of get an idea. And then I'll also pull up like actual reference to, so for like just to give you guys an idea. Oh, here we go. Perfect. So I'm referencing that. I'm gonna drag that back up to my screen. And then also too, I pulled up a bunch of screenshots from the reveal. So it's stuff like that, insignia, and then let me actually pull up just to show you guys exactly what I do in preparation, because there needs to be a level of preparation for this. Otherwise, you're just drawing from a vacuum. Because I can't remember exactly like you know, how this specific Batman looks like. And then I pulled up specific images from the trailer just to really be respectful and, you know, really tie down this exact image, because this is what I'm going to be referencing from, right? So I want to be able to actually, like, you know, look at the design, study the specific things that make this design stand out from all the others, because there's been so many iterations of Batman that, you know, it's hard to keep track. But in this case, like, I want to be able to at least look specifically at this design from the trailer, because I can just draw Batman, like any version of Batman, but to keep this fun and also to keep this in line with what I'm doing, which is, you know, taking a scene from the trailer, I want to be able to actually, like, get photos from the actual trailer, which is cool. It's cool that we're in this day and age where we can gather up so much reference and so much detail from just the internet, and it's cool. So that's an important thing I want to discuss, just because it's a very integral part to storyboarding and also just art in general, is to, like, really be able to have a solid design and solid drawings, because you can not use reference, like you can do drawings without reference, but it just doesn't make the drawing as unique or as solid, honestly. So, okay, so I'm just gonna get started. Of course, the images that I dragged over to my screen, I actually have on another monitor, which you saw before. I have it on my Samsung monitor, and I can also have stuff on my laptop, but this screen's big enough. Right now, the way I'm gonna start this, I'm just gonna keep it very loose. And then I'm going to be drawing through a lot of my objects, drawing through a lot of the forms, because one thing that I've noticed certain students, and I've noticed that myself do back in the past, was I'll just draw, like, for example, I'll draw the arm, right, then I'll draw this, then I'll draw the arm, and then give it all the little details and everything, and then I'll draw the torso, and then I'll draw the leg, right? And it's all disconnected, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't work the same as where if you're, like, making sure that all these elements are connected, you know, and then making sure that all the tendons, everything, and also, like, you don't have to know too much about the anatomy and everything, or it's very helpful. It's actually, you know what, I take that back, it's necessary, but at least in this stage, you gotta be rough. Looking at the reference, so his ears are a little more far apart, or at least the bat ears, and his cowl. So of course, like, he's, you know, he's very physically built, so of course his head, the width of his head and his neck are going to be about the same, and he doesn't look to be as girthy as say like the Batfleck version of Batman with Ben Affleck. So just try to keep him a little skinny here, and I'm just keeping it rough, and this part should be very rough because you want to get, like, the feeling of it. And then also, like, this is for demo purposes, I'd be drawing a lot more. In terms of design, like, you have to, like, do a bunch of iterations. Like, right now it looks kind of weird, so I'm gonna use the lasso tool just to kind of make this more proportioned, skew it a little bit. I think my main arm's too big, but I'm just, like, really just trying to be, like, gestural, like, trying to get a better idea of, like, here one thing I'll notice is that, like, the legs may be a little too small. I like, fundamentally I think, like, when it comes to doing, like, the human figure, the figure should be, like, 9 heads tall, I think, for guys, and it's 8 or 7 for women. I may be wrong. I'd have to go over it again, but I think for me, I just trying to get a sense of, like, who the character is. So, like here you see, like, this guy who's very built. He was built for his role as the Batman, you know, because he has to withstand a lot of physical endurance, whether it be climbing up buildings, taking out bad guys. Like, you know, I'm thinking about these things, so I'm actually gonna write that down. Like, you know, he's strong, but agile too. Like, I'm not making him too big, tall. And then, you know, he's a fighter, but, like, he endurance.
So in this case, and again, I'm going back and forth with the reference. So like here, like I pulled up the image of how the actual cowl would look. I'm actually just gonna draw that. So before I actually even draw Batman, I'll just draw like how Robert Pattinson would look. Again, for demo purposes, of course, I'd be like doing more designs, but even like in storyboarding too, as long as like the design's appealing, that's all that matters. So here his hair is a little more like that. That's an interesting thing too, is like if you can like design the hair in a certain way that works, that's gonna help a lot. And then of course I can just lower the opacity. Actually, let me just finish up the Batman. So here, just delete that. Move him over here. That was my dog. Then let me just open up a new layer. Actually, let me just put a different color on here. Because I had done this, it's helped me to like better fit the actual like design of the costume. So of course his ears would be like, if I pull back a little bit here. Then his hair, I would say like his head would be here. Might be a little bigger. Because the distance in the actual costume, actually the distance between that is pretty big. And also one thing to note too, I don't want to get too much into this because I actually want to do more of the storyboarding stuff, but I feel like this is important because at least there you can get like a better idea of like how to approach it. And there is a synergy, a relationship between character design and storyboarding, where you still want to understand the design, you still want to understand how like the human body works and everything, and how you can get appealing work. Actually, I just realized Sean Galloway is a great example of really appealing work. So here, like, again, very gestural. So here, there's this, and there's the actual rip, upper body. And I'm just trying to like just feel out the rhythm about design. Is like having really good shapes will help you understand more about how character design works. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like my design's leaning more towards like semi-realistic, like kind of TV animation kind of look. I don't know, I just like it. There's these little things in here which are pretty interesting. Then here I'm just going in and adding more detail. The important thing to focus on is just looking at your reference and also trying to balance out design choices. So here I'm just trying to focus on the different kinds of shapes and just trying to finesse everything a little bit. So here I flipped the canvas. As you can see, like here, like I definitely noticed certain issues with it, so I will go ahead and actually fix some of that kind of stuff. So like here, and actually a cool shortcut is where if you hold Control Option on a Mac, and I think also Control Alt on a Windows, you're able to just change the brush size here. So I'm just moving it from side to side. So that's a really good way to just change your brush. And then here I'm just going in and finessing everything, tweaking everything, catching mistakes. The biggest thing here to focus on is just to try to problem solve and make sure that the drawing looks good both ways. So now I'm gonna go and quickly try to clean up this drawing here. And throughout this whole demo, I've tried to separate out the process into 3 steps. First step being thumbs, and then roughs, and then now here's the cleanup phase. And for storyboarding, I try to keep it clean, but at the same time, I still want there to be a sense of energy. So a lot of the lines aren't super clean or smooth. There is a bit of scratchiness and looseness to it. And then also here too, this is a chance to like catch any other mistakes or any other adjustments that I could make to enhance the drawing. And this is just through, you know, constant practice, and the more you do this, the more you observe, the better you get. Oops. And then okay, so and then just for funsies, I'll add a bit of tone. And again, just for demo purposes, like this is for me enough information to, and again I have my reference too. I have my other photos of like him in other poses and stuff like that. That's gonna be super helpful. I think that's pretty cool. Actually, that'd be cool just to. I want to show this. This is a really important aspect, just because once you start storyboarding, like the last thing you'll have to really worry about is designing anymore. So like once you isolate this section and really focus on the design, then that'll be, so like for example, like if you're on a schedule to like film or to storyboard a sequence that's about, I don't know, maybe 200 panels, in this case like about a minute or so or two, I would say here or so, about a week and a half to design stuff. Like really take the time to design and like figure stuff out, even certain props, or certain environments. And then from there, like take about 2.5 weeks to like, you know, rough out the storyboard. At least like 2 weeks to rough out everything, and then 2 weeks to clean up. In the end, you still want to be quick, but there's still an aspect to like taking your time and making it look good. At least that's a big part of it. And just seeing it from like a portfolio perspective, like this along with like him doing certain gestures and stuff like that. Actually, let me just pull up certain portfolios that I really like. Well, so like here, Daniel Tall, he has like about 2 pages of just like rough drawings. So here I'm just like being more constructive. Of course, I dedicate like a page of just like roughing out everything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this out, probably work on it a little more, and then that'll be my reference for the actual storyboarding section. And then here I went back in and I decided to make some major modifications. An important lesson to learn from this is that don't go with your first drawing or your first initial sketch, because usually that's just there to kind of get you warmed up and ready for better drawings. So here I decided to go with more of a 3/4 pose that actually would benefit me more. As you can see there, I applied these little lines, diagonal lines across the character indicating perspective. And then here's an important thing to know is that a lot of times you just gotta, you know, problem solve and finesse a lot of your drawings. And then through that first drawing, you can go in and make better drawings from there. And so you can see the drawing is looking a lot better, more structurally sound. And this is the phase where I went in and did thumbnails. This is the thumbnail phase where I'm just loosely sketching out poses for this expression sheet, or in this case, full body expression sheet. And that's something to note too for portfolios, that it's really good to have this kind of sheet with your character in a 3/4 as well as your character in motion. And because I had liked the thumbnail a lot, I decided to go back into the 3/4 and actually apply those design choices into the actual pose, because I really liked how it was coming along, and I was trying to go for like a semi-stylized look, but also somewhat realistic. And I'm using reference for this. I'm not doing this purely from imagination. I am taking the poses that I see on Pinterest and applying those to my character. And this is a great way to draw, because if you just draw from imagination and you're not fully aware of, or at least understanding of anatomy and other things like that, it'll be really hard for you to actually go in and like, you know, create drawings that actually, you know, look somewhat decent. So it's always good to have reference. And here I'm actually drawing the characters in a or at least the head of the character in different angles. Although I'm not going to be actually drawing the character from these angles for the specific demo, it's good just to have that, just to, you know that you're thinking of those kinds of things. So if I were to actually take this into an actual storyboard and come up with my own story, this would be really helpful. As you can see, I'm focusing a lot on shapes and a lot on expressiveness, of the pose, and just making sure that things are still loose at this stage, because I am gonna go in and I am gonna continue to work out these drawings. And that's the beauty of it. If you can split your drawing process into these 3 steps, which is the thumbnail phase, the rough phase, and then the final phase, which I'll show you in a little bit, it's gonna help make your drawings a lot better. And so here I'm looking at Sean Galloway's work. He always has this fantastic dynamism with his drawings, where his characters look as if they're actually alive, living and breathing through their poses. And here I'm just trying to emulate that, because that's the key, is not only have really pretty drawings, but also have that liveliness through the drawings, through the gestures. Okay, so here's what I have so far. You guys saw me work on these thumbnail drawings here, but just to reiterate again the process that I went through. Here are the thumbs that I did, and then here I was just refining a little bit more with the drawing here. And then here I didn't show this part, but basically I took the structure of the thumbnails, and of course I lowered the opacity of the thumbnails, and then here I went ahead using the reference that I already have of the batsuit, and I started to actually go in and detail out everything here. Now I don't have to focus a lot on the posing anymore. That I took care of in the thumbnail stages. Here I'm actually focusing now more on the detail, and this is a great way to draw, in my opinion. It's helped me a lot, because it's helped to like isolate different areas here, and it just helps to like isolate the process and not feel overwhelmed. Because if you just try to go in and try to finish this whole thing out in one go, it's gonna feel very overwhelming. So hopefully this helps you guys get an idea of how to approach drawing. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go into cleaning this up to make it portfolio ready. If I were to put this in a portfolio, just to give you guys an idea of the level of finish that you should expect from yourselves. And again, because I had done all the hard work before this, I don't have to worry about figuring out proportions or anything like that. I can just go in and just clean all this stuff up. And again, I'm trying to still keep things loose, but at the same time refining certain aspects of the drawing so that it'll be easy for me to reference from once I actually go in and start the storyboarding. And also here too, of course I can always go in and make adjustments and do all that kind of stuff here as well. So again, always try to find things to fix and things to enhance. And of course too, like again, I'm not focused on character design. I'm not a character designer, but these are things that I do like to focus on because I want to get better at it, and it definitely helps me in my process of storyboarding. And so before I wasn't really adding all these like little details here, but now that I've gone through the different phases, different steps, I can go in and actually just have fun with this and focus on the detail. And just know that I am still looking at reference. And it's a balance, like trying to balance out your reference, but then also trying to go in and add your own flair to it, add your own design choices to this. And that's important. That's something that you're going to get better at the more you do this. But for the most part here, I'm actually just going in and cleaning up what I got here. And then here, there's just like, a tip for outlines of a structure. keep the lines a little thick, and then for any other details inside, keep them thin. It just helps to add different kinds of line weights to it, just to not make your drawing appear flat. So like here, if things are at the bottom or covered in shadow, keep them thick. And then anything that would be hit by the light, and of course there's a line drawing, but anything that you would think would be hit by the light would produce a thinner line. Just like if you were to paint. That's how I try to treat this, like I'm painting. Because it just helps to elevate your drawings to new heights. And I'm not perfect, like by no means am I perfect. This is just a way of approaching drawing. If you guys find a better way, that's perfectly fine. But this is just like a way of showing of my process. And so I'm being pretty confident. Of course, certain areas I could go back and erase, but it just depends. Like here, not too bad. And this is a storyboard anyway, so the goal is for this to be clear and expressive, and above all, energetic. If this can possess an energy, if your drawings can possess an energy to them, that's the biggest thing. Of course, as time goes on, you will get better at drawing things out a little nicer and everything. But that just comes with time. Let's see. Okay, cool. So I can maybe add like a shadow here. Again, like this, I don't have to think too much anymore because I'd already done all this stuff. Now let's see. I know I made a mistake a little here, so I'm just gonna reference the drawings I already have. Oops. So I'm gonna go in. Gotta fix the eyes here. Okay, that's not too bad. It's pretty good. Actually, I'm curious. So, let's see. And flipping the canvas is really good. Actually, it's pretty good. Of course, actually the chin. I need to be a little more flat. Cool. So I'm just gonna go in and also the brush that I'm using is it's a black marker brush, but it's got this chisel to it. I've always been very fond of like the qualities of this kind of brush. It can easily produce thick and thin lines depending on the direction you're going in. I'm just adding this line here just to indicate form. But yeah, there's that. That's pretty good. Now I'm gonna go in and actually draw these out as well. And also too, the fact that I'm actually going in and redesigning a character that's already, well established and designed. It's just a great exercise for you to use. Take any characters you want and try to interpret it in a different way. Of course, like I consider this to be fan art, but it's kind of rare to see like actual like story fan art. So that's the beauty of it. So you're not just designing the characters, but you're actually going to use these characters as a guide for your storyboards. And then here too, like certain things like these triangular shapes help to add this energy to it visually. because usually like they, in art school, they tell you that circles represent like peace and softness, and then triangles represent either evil or energy. So it's implementing these principles to help enhance the look of the character. It's not just there just to make it look pretty, but it's there to actually tell a story. And that's the goal for all this. Like, of course I'm designing, but I'm also trying to tell a story with the character, how he's positioned, how he looks, and also, more importantly, how he feels. How does this character feel how do you feel about this character? And so I want to show this part of the process too, just to show you like what you could potentially do when it comes to designing characters. And there's a satisfaction to that, being able to successfully design a character, and then from there just taking it wherever you go, whether it be storyboarding, illustration, it doesn't matter. So now I'm actually going to go in and finish this stuff up. I'll see you guys in a little bit. And then here, like in the foot, of course the foot looks very different to how I designed like all the other character attributes now. So it's okay to change things up. You don't have to be married to the look of how the roughs are. And also too, like if I envision this as like a 2D show, certain aspects of the character can change depending on what the pose is. But if it's like a 3D show, then I'd be doing my part in like paying more attention to like making sure everything's consistent, making sure everything falls in line with how the actual 3D model of the character would be. So that's an important thing to note too. And also note one thing, like it's good to try to be on model, but also too it's even better to like really be expressive and loose and clear with the poses of your characters. So it just depends on like what show you'd be on, or what kind of mentality or goals you want to set for yourself when it comes down to storyboarding. But the biggest thing is to be clear, to be expressive, to make sure that your characters have a personality, and to make sure that people can connect with your characters. If they can connect with your characters, you got them. And if you can connect with your character, that's the big thing. If you have to be the one to connect to the character that you're drawing the most. Otherwise, if you don't connect with them, no one else will. And here, one little detail. So like here in the mouth, because I'm treating this character like, it's an actual character in three-dimensional space, I have to make sure that there is a sense of volume. Like here, the teeth, the mouth, there is a sense of volume and space in the mouth. So those are things I am keeping track of to ensure that those are the things that help make your drawings better. And then here, some of these things like I'm not too focused on. Again, the overall idea I got down. Now it's just kind of, icing on the cake, really. Oh, here we go. And also one thing, silhouette. I drew these characters in these specific ways, and I looked at these poses specifically because they had really good silhouette, meaning that even if this whole thing was painted black and you just saw the outline of everything, you could understand and get an idea of who it is. Here, like, that stuff's kind of there, but I wanted to show overlap. But again, like, that's an important thing to focus on too, is silhouette. And yeah, I got these poses down. And also one thing too, focusing on shapes and making sure that these poses kind of flow within each other. That way it looks good on the page. And so then now for the coup de grace, I'm just going to go ahead and add tone. And then here I'm actually going to mic go a little bit looser with the tone. This is just a fun thing to have. Here I have a chalk brush, and here I'm just going in and adding a bit of tone to everything here, just to give it that final pop. And here I might have to change my approach a little bit. Here I can erase and do all that kind of stuff. Just help add a little bit to it, you know. And this is totally optional. Again, this whole process is just how I do it. If that's not how you flow, that's totally fine. But my goal for this was to show you a practical and an effective approach to being able to get expressions done as well as poses. And I'm actually pretty happy with how these came out. And again, I don't want to skimp out on anything. Like, I want to make sure I dedicate my time to making sure that these demos provide, you know, some clarity and some guidance on how to approach these things. And it's just fun. Again, like, I want to get back into my tutorial videos, and I feel like this was a great way for me to like ease in back into it. And also on the same topic of the Wacom Cintiq Pro 24-inch, this is just a great way for me to like really be loose and energetic with this stuff. Like, I feel like having a bigger tablet definitely helps with getting better, more confident strokes. That's just me. Of course, you don't really need any high-end tablet, but because I'm doing this, you know, professionally, and I want to have a reliable product to help, you know, get these things done, I want to make sure that I have something that helps me get the job done. And so this Cintiq Pro really helped me feel more comfortable. My neck doesn't hurt. I'm actually sitting up better now. My posture is better, and overall, I'm just really happy that I was able to do this demo for you guys. I'm really happy that I can get back into it, and I hope that, you know, I can get more videos going. And I just realized I want to just dedicate this to design. I'm going to do a part 2, so that's just going to be something you guys can go straight into right after this. And here I'm just cleaning up, just adding that last bit of pop and zing to it. But again, thank you guys so much for, you know, being supportive and tuning in. And I will see you guys in the next video when we actually start the storyboarding process. But this was such an important topic for me to discuss because it just personally makes storyboarding easier for me, and it gives you an idea of how animation works too. Like, even if I didn't design this, having this sheet available from another artist makes it easier for me to go in and to storyboard more effectively and confidently. So anyway, that's it. Of course, I'll probably go back in and finesse little things, but for the most part, the actual posing and designs are good. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video.